You mean it, yeah?
The troublemaker.
Oh, that's me, yeah.
Oh, that's me.
That's me, yeah.
Oh, look at my hair.
Okay, anytime, Rick.
Is that going to be up there the whole time?
Should we start it like that? Can we start it like that?
Yeah, it's just kind of weird if we're getting a live feed in front of us.
Hello.
I don't know, but it's pretty wild.
Is that over here?
How can you be getting that? How come we're getting that? It's a camera, isn't it?
That's, is that the,
It's also a teleprompter.
Yeah, the
but
teleprompter.
I don't know.
Hello.
I didn't think it was there. Okay, anytime, Rick.
Okay, so, the second album, The Bends. Is this, I guess probably an obvious statement, but have something to do with you guys becoming successful in a really short period of time?
Yeah, it was kind of sarcastic, but not really. Sarcasm doesn't translate to music, but the reason we called it that was the first the title track was the first song we had for the album. So
There is a kind of analogy there,
Is there?
isn't there?
Yes.
Do you think so?
yeah, all right.
Yeah.
It's
So
pretty
it was,
obvious.
it was the first song you wrote for the album as well, then?
I actually had a full track of it when we were doing Pablo Honey. So I don't know why we didn't do it really.
When you were recording Pablo?
Yeah, actually in the studio at the time, I remember we were tracking some stuff and Tom was in his little cottage with a 4-track and he go, here, I got this song. And here we are, 3 years later.
2, 3, 4, 5,
Yeah, 3
8.
years laget.
So it ends up just being an incredible coincidence then that it sort of reflects what happened.
Well, that, yeah, well, it's one of those songs that was like rambling round and just, you know, poured all this rubbish out into the song and then it all started happening, which is really odd. You know, I mean, I was completely taking the piss when I wrote it, and then actually the joke started wearing a bit thin.
What was, I mean, it could have been all bad. I mean, you had success, which I'm sure you would hope for when all that was happening. But was it getting to be a bit tiring, wearing after a while?
So it was like we all got really excited about it.
He was basically the only one who got the song of all the directors we talked to.
And he was the most enthusiastic as well.
Yeah, he
Definitely.
was.
What about John Leckie?
He's a wonderful man. He's like our long lost uncle. And he taught us how to use the studio and everything really. I mean, when we went to do this album, we were in a pretty bad state really.
Fragile.
Fragile would be to put it mildly. And he was able to make the studio a place conducive to work, which I think a lot of producers find, you know, a lot of it is just sort of telling you what to do and you scurry off and you say, okay. You know, and John was very much, you know, we'd run around the studio sort of saying, what do you think, John? And he'd go, well, I don't know, you're the band. You decide, you know. I'll tell you when you're going wrong. So, but it was also, one of the things that I'm eternally grateful for is making the studio a place that no longer seemed like some sort of science lab, you know, and actually just seemed like something you only make something your own when you've learnt to use it and abuse it, and that's kind of what we started doing. And John was brilliant at doing that. You know, he took out all the mystery out of recording and made it something that you can enjoy just like playing. You know, I mean, up until that point, we'd never really had the opportunity to record to any degree that we were satisfied with, because it was always like, oh, well, you got a day here, go and do another song, you know, or here's 2.5 weeks to do the first album, which we didn't expect to do well anyway. So it was, everything was turned around when we did it, and he was the perfect guy for the job, really.
A lot of bands seem like they're going to houses these days, like they're recording.
Yeah, I think the most important thing is to have fun and be relaxed in a studio, you know, and that's the thing, and it depends on the environment. Bands do different things too.